podcast where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. So a little bit of setback tonight, guys. We had a guest coming on, but about a few minutes ago, they text me, they messaged me, hey, look, it was a scheduling conflict. We have to reschedule. Unfortunately, I'm on here. We're gonna make it happen, even though that happened. And in life, like, you're gonna have challenges, you're gonna have setbacks, things are gonna happen that's out of your control, and you just have to be able to bounce back, figure it out, do what you need to do in order to get it going, and keep on moving. Because even though something affects you, um, you still have to be able to keep it moving, find a way to keep the train running and not let all the wheels fall off. We're gonna have him back on another time. He just double booked, didn't even realize it, because he's in America. We're taking it global. He was all the way from Australia. So that would have been an interesting experience for everyone. But before we get started, I just want to thank everyone that subscribe, like, share, comment on our videos. We appreciate it. We appreciate the growth. We over 150 subscribers, and it keeps growing every week. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you all for commenting, sharing, and checking in. Tonight is gonna be a short night. We're not gonna be on here super long. But we're just going to talk about resilience and being able to bounce back as a young entrepreneur, because that's one of the things that is really hard. It's not easy to get knocked down and try to get back up, especially becoming a new person in business. So, for example, if you're building a website trying to get it started, and then you find out you need to get another IP address, or you gotta get another domain name, and you didn't really budget for it, what are you gonna do? And all these little challenges that you experience as a young entrepreneur, it's gonna be setting you up to become more resilient and more able to find solutions to the problems that exist, right? Because sometimes it's easier to just run. It's easier to just, I ain't doing it, or it's easier to just run away from the problem. But what I learned over the time of being an entrepreneur, or in life in general, is that once you start running, you will always be running. You will always be running from that problem. You will always be running from whatever it is that is holding you back, or that problem. But, however, there's hope, right? If you are able to overcome that challenge, if you're able to go ahead and not let that challenge beat you, and see how you could grow through that challenge, you'll be 100%, you'll grow through it, you'll learn through it, and the next challenge that come on, you will be able to get through it with no issues. All right, so I just wanted to share a quick light, share a quick video. um, Look, if you're in the comments, ask me anything. Let's see how we could start off the week. We start off last year. We start off this year, last week, with vision boards and planning for your future this year. So tell me, how was that for you guys? What you experienced? Comment, ask me questions. If you set up your vision board, what your vision board look like, what you got going on. Let's see what we got tonight, all right? So, let's see. Hang on. All right, let's see what we talking about. First question up. What does it take to make it as an entrepreneur? Ooh, that's a good one. Like I said it earlier, it's just taking the time out to be resilient. Never giving up when uh, things get hard, it's easy to just throw in the towel. It's easy to just wanna not put in the work, you know? Um, but if you do what's easy, your life would always be hard. But if you do what's hard, your life would always be easy. It's hard to be in a relationship. It's hard to be married. It's hard to make money. It's hard to do all this stuff. However, if it was easy, everybody would have been millionaires. Every single person you walk by would have been a millionaire. So life is it's gonna be challenging, but if you do what's hard, your life would always be easy. So I challenge you this year to do the things that are hard. So what inspired the Be Inspired for you? So for me, what inspired Be Inspired for me was um, I saw opportunity. I saw that nobody was getting interviewed. Like, you see all the big names. You saw everybody that was doing good. You heard about um, the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, all these big names, Lisa Nichols, but you never heard about the person that is on their journey, the person who's just starting, who's trying to build their business, creating flyers, printing t-shirts, all that stuff, or the person who just started their auto company or nail tech business or just life coaching business. Um, you never hear from those people who are going through the go through, who are going through the experience, don't know if they're gonna make it, and just the unsurety of having that experience. So I was inspired by that to shed light on their stories so they could be a light to other people that are also going through the entrepreneurship journey. So that's a little bit about what inspired me to create the Be Inspired. Thank you. That's a great question. So who else? What else you got? Let's see. I see you got a few people on here. Let's see. What things you recommend to keep consistent with your goal? So someone asks, what are some things that do you recommend to keep consistent with your goal? That's a good one. I like that. So the first thing to keeping consistent, I would say just breaking your goal down into small steps, small manageable steps, because sometimes we end up getting overwhelmed with the big goal, and breaking it down into small steps would be able to help you achieve that success that you're looking for. So if you know your goal is to make 15 sales per week, what are the little things during the week that you have to do in order to make the 15 sales? How many sales calls you gotta make? Do you have to make 100 sales calls a day in order to get 15 sales per week? What are your numbers? What are you gotta what are your numbers, and what small steps that you are taking to get to that goal? Excuse me. So yeah, I would say break it down into small steps so you could be consistent, because getting overwhelmed with a big goal is something that would stop you from being consistent. All right. I like that one. What else we got? What else we got? Anybody else want any more tips? Let's see. All right. What would you say to someone who feels like they failed? I would ask them, what is failure? I would ask, what makes you feel like you have failed, because failure is just a lesson that you learn. So, for example, we could say that Be Inspired failed about 10 years ago. I would say that I stopped producing episodes for about 10 years, but that didn't make me a failure. I'm still here, I'm still doing it. It's just lessons learned. What are you gonna learn? What are you gonna grow from it? Failure is just one step closer to success. So, what did you fail in, and how do you how do you consider it being failed? Was it a test? Was it something that could be learned from and you get better from? Or what is it that you failed in, you know? I would ask that. And what does failure mean to you? That's a good one. I like the questions. I like the questions, man. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome, man. Freedom. Somebody said, what made you want to be an entrepreneur? Um, Freedom, being able to have my time freedom, my own freedom, and being able to control my and manage my time, you know? Because looking at everything and looking at the way the world is going, if one job can't sustain you based on inflation, based on everything that's going on. So me being an entrepreneur, I could control how much I make, uh, the time I get to spend with my family, and all the different things that you can't really do once having a 9 to 5. Not to say you can't have a 9 to 5 to help you get to the goal of freedom and being an entrepreneur, but one of the things for me is that I wanted to have my time freedom and be able to go on those trips and not have to worry about um, having to ask to go on trips, if you know what I mean. Hey boss, can I get this vacation day off? I know some of you can relate to that in the chat. How do you now prepare for uncertainty in business? Uncertainty in business. That's a good question. How do you now prepare for uncertainty in business? There's a lot of stuff that are uncertain. Like, for example, I was in, I didn't know that this would happen tonight, where I would have been on the spot and I guess would have been canceled. However, you just have to be resilient when those moments of uncertainty comes up. Are you gonna just sit and hold your head, or put your head in the sand? Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Or are you gonna rise to the occasion and just, okay, all right, something happened. Let me just jump on here and talk to you guys and see how it goes, you know? It's simple as that. Or just, there's always gonna be uncertainty, but you just gotta figure out what you want to do with it, you know? What are things or advice you have for a new and upcoming entrepreneur? Never give up. Rest if you must, but don't quit. Rest if you must, but don't quit. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a new thing you're learning. However, don't give up. That's one piece of advice that I could give an up and coming entrepreneur. Don't give up. Go through the go through. It's gonna be a challenge, but once you keep learning, once you keep reading books, once you keep expanding, your mind, because mindset is one of the main things that keeps you going as an entrepreneur. Like reading positive books, reading uh, hanging around people that are already successful. Those are a few things that will continue to help you on your journey to entrepreneurship. Because someone once said, your income could only grow as fast as you are able to grow. So if you're not growing, your income is stagnant. That's because you're not growing. For example, a perfect example of that is when people win the lottery. When people win the lottery, they say that, like that guy that won the $1 billion, because it came so fast, they don't know what to do with it. Not saying that he doesn't know what he's gonna do with the money. He probably already have plan, investment, stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, people who win the lottery, they're broke again within the next few years, just because they weren't able to grow and learn how to manage that money, manage the influx of that money. So a few things I would just say: keep growing, keep learning, keep reading books, keep seeking knowledge that would help you become a better person, a better entrepreneur, because it all starts with mindset. Great questions. I appreciate the questions, man. What's one word that describes your current business season? Elevation. I would say, what's one word that describes your current business season? Elevation. Because on the journey, last year it started in February, we were just doing episodes, we were doing the work, and it was a lot of things going on in the back that no one saw, like me working on figuring out how to consistently push out episodes, find guests, do all this good stuff, and be here every Sunday with you guys to make sure you get your dose of juice and energy for the week. So last year was the foundation, and this year is gonna be elevation, because now it's coming like simple, it's coming easier. Like now I'm attracting more people are wanting to be on the podcast, and it's more easier than last year, because now we're getting more exposure. So this current business season, I would say elevation and growth, especially with my therapy practice. Because not only do I have a podcast, I have my therapy practice as well. And it's just been growing and learning and growing through it. So elevation is how I would describe this current business season. I appreciate all the questions. You guys are doing awesome, man. I hope this is helping you guys. Put some fires in the chat if this is helping you, if you're loving it, if you're getting some good tips. Go ahead and put some fires in the chat. What are some books or resources you can recommend for a great mindset? Ooh, that's a good one. First one I would recommend that's real good is, everybody recommends Rich Dad Poor Dad as a start. I would say Think and Grow Rich. And then the one that really helped me understand life and what's going on was Outwitting the Devil. Because that book was written back in 1970, and it's relevant and true to today. It's like the author interviewed the devil. He was able to capture the devil, interview him, and ask, how is it that you keep people from achieving success? And what you find and what you read about it is that he keeps you distracted. He keeps you distracted by the news. He keeps you distracted by TV, video games, cigarettes, smoking, weed, sex, all this good stuff he uses to keep you distracted, to keep you in a cycle. So that was one of the books that really opened my eyes to like the drifters. So the book called them the people that are drifting through life. They're just drifting through life. They don't have a goal and they don't know where they're going, and they're just doing drugs. They're going through life. They're hoping that things work out for them, but they're just receiving the scraps of life. And those are the people that are just out there, and those distracted people, he calls them drifters. So that's another great book that I like, Outwitting the Devil. I think that's really a good one that should be read. Um, yeah. What else? All right. So, I think we're good on the questions. I'll take like one more and then we'll get off of here and we will reconvene next week. I'll come back and bring the fire. They said, finish this sentence. If I had given up, I would have missed out on opportunities to meet awesome people. I'd have missed out on spending more time with my family, being able to now monetize my podcast if I had given up. Seeing where I would have been if I did give up, I would have missed out on all of that. Missed out on different people subscribing, different high level conversations, different levels that you would get to had if I'd given up. So I would miss out on a lot of opportunities, freedom, and the chance to set my family free. So, with that being said, guys, I know this was a different kind of energy, different kind of podcast this week, but I just wanted to still come on, still give you guys value, still share some insights with you guys. And I appreciate you, everyone that asked questions, everyone that chimed in. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week on the next episode of Be Inspired Podcast, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. And the last thing I would say, if you haven't checked out Creative Dream Collective, go ahead and check them out. Let them get you your flyers, your t-shirts, whatever you need for marketing to help you skyrocket your business, just like those awesome flyers you be seeing every week. All right. So with that being said, I will see you guys on next week. All right. Have a good